Hey there, welcome to the latest episode of the Sexy Thyroid Solution. So today I want to talk about causes of hypothyroidism. But first, if you could do me a really big favor, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you could go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and then you're going to hit that little bell so you get a notification every Thursday when I release a new video. And then if you're watching this on Facebook or on Instagram, share this with someone, maybe tag someone who could benefit from this information. So I want to talk about this subject because it's something that I get asked a lot when females come to me. They're like, why do I have this? Why do I have a slow thyroid? What is going on here? Sometimes for some women, it is just a genetic thing. It's just something that they just have. I see it very commonly in females that can happen. However, the other factors that I see are lifestyle factors and things going on that could be contributing to making that worse. And so you can't just ignore these things. You have to go over, and I go in depth with my clients, I go over all these things that could be slowing your thyroid down. What else is causing that thyroid to be sluggish? Sometimes just putting someone on medication isn't enough. And that's where I dive in and go, okay, what else can we do here that's making your thyroid to be slow because the medication's not working? And some people don't even need medication. They're put on medication. They really don't need it. They just needed to tweak a few things with their lifestyle. So that's why I wanted to go over this. So one of the big ones is hormone imbalance. It's a very, very big one. Sex hormones for females and the thyroid hormone are interconnected big time. So when one gets off, one area gets off, it's really common to see the other one off. And I see this very commonly. And that's why in my program, if you're a one-on-one client with me, I actually do hormone testing and we do more testing for your thyroid. We do it together. And there's a reason for that because they feed off of each other. If you don't have your sex hormones balanced, it's really hard to correct some of the other things going on with your thyroid. And so that's why I have that kind of combined together. The other thing is chronic stress. If you are under an immense amount of stress and it's been going on for a while, especially, that's going to really slow your thyroid down. And this happens because whenever you're under stress, you get an increased release of cortisol as your fight or flight hormone. When that's released, eventually there's all this sort of cascade of events that happen. And when this starts happening, it goes right to your thyroid and it slows it down. And I actually can see this on the hormone test that I do. You can actually see a pattern that happens with your cortisol based off of what your thyroid's doing. So I see a really big connection there. It's very common to see the thyroid get really, really slow when you're under chronic stress. I can actually vouch for this. I went through a pretty stressful event a couple of years ago and my thyroid was really under control until that happened. And then my thyroid was out of control again. Luckily, I knew what to do to kind of bring it back in and rear it back in so that I didn't get the really bad effects that I had many years ago. But it can really happen very easily. Something else that I also look at is mineral imbalances. Mineral imbalances and kind of nutrient deficiencies kind of go together. Really common with a slow thyroid. And this is something that like doctors don't check this. But if you have extremely high calcium levels or really low potassium levels, you're kind of setting yourself up for a slow thyroid. And the reason is high calcium is going to slow your thyroid down. Low potassium also slows your thyroid down because there's a decrease in conversion of your active thyroid hormone. And I go over this more in videos about this as well when it comes to testing for your thyroid. But you have to have these minerals balanced. And when they're off, a lot of times I will see a slow thyroid. The other factor is I actually do the mineral testing. I do it through hair sample. But if there's metals overloading, that also can contribute to why the minerals are off and why you have nutrient deficiencies. So that's something that I really go in depth with my one-on-one clients. And then gut dysfunction. This is one that doesn't get often looked at. It's ignored quite a bit. There is a very big connection between what is going on in your gut health and what is going on with your thyroid, and it has to get addressed. Slow thyroid can cause gut dysfunction, and gut dysfunction can cause slow thyroid. So that's the other part that makes it very, very tricky, is one can cause the other. They both can go back and forth, feeding off of each other. That makes it very tricky. So that's all the more reason why you have to address gut health, because you will go back and forth, back and forth. When the gut's off, a lot of symptoms other systems kind of follow suit, and the thyroid is definitely one of them. The other thing is T3 and T4 also are really good at protecting your intestinal lining. So if those hormones are really, really low, that's another double whammy how that can affect your gut health. So it's really important to make sure you're getting your gut health looked at. The other factor is food sensitivities. If you have a whole bunch of food sensitivities, it's going to throw your gut health off. You're going to have inflammation, all these things. Again, it just feeds into a slow thyroid. So those things kind of go hand in hand. You have to really look at those. And then environmental toxins. This is a really big one. I'm actually in my group program, we're actually doing this. We're going to be doing this very soon. It's really important to go over environmental toxins when it comes to thyroid health. One of the big reasons I go over that is liver health is super huge for thyroid health. When you have all these toxins happening in your body, you're being exposed to them, whether it's in your house, at work, with what you're drinking. You're drinking out of plastic bottles all the time. That adds up. And what has to happen is your liver has to detox everything. Your liver can only take so much. The other part that sucks with this is your thyroid hormone conversion. Most of it happens in your liver. And what I mean by this is you have inactive T4 and you have active T3 hormones. And you have to convert T4 over to T3. You only make 20% T3. I talk about this all the time. And you have to convert so much over to T3 from T4. That happens a lot with the liver. And so if the liver's bogged down because you have all this crap going on with environmental toxins, your liver, the last thing it's going to think about is helping with conversion. So I see this a lot when the liver is severely bogged down. I start seeing liver symptoms. And I can even vouch for that myself. If I'm not being careful like I usually am, I can really start noticing some thyroid symptoms can return. So you have to be very diligent with that. And it's so much easier these days than it was years ago. It used to be like, you could not get away from it. Now you have, you can do a lot of supplements for liver health. There's ways around it, much easier. And there's a lot more products that now are chemical free, whether it's beauty products, cleaning products. Years ago, you didn't have that. And now you do, and they're actually really good products. So that is something I actually really dive in with my clients is, okay, we have to get these toxins out because of that slowing your thyroid down as well. And then lastly, that I want to talk about is sleep. Sleep is huge. Sleep is your repair time. So if you think about, and I don't care if you're healing the thyroid, if you're healing your gut, if you're, hormones, if it's, some other disease that you have going on, whatever it is, if you're healing anything and you're not getting sleep, it's going to be really hard to heal that. Sleep is your repair time. Okay. This is the time when everything else just kind of shuts off, and it's the time for things to repair, things to heal. If you're not doing that, that does not help with your thyroid. That can actually contribute to a really, really slow thyroid because again, this is your repair time. You need this. So sleep is going to be a big one. I address this. I do a whole module on sleep with my clients because it's such a huge factor. And it's kind of one that's a little bit ignored. So take homes. What are my big ones that I actually really think need to be addressed as far as the thyroid health goes? Hormone balance, chronic stress, nutrient deficiencies / mineral balance or imbalance, gut dysfunction, environmental toxins, sleep. Okay, and then your food sensitivities fall in line with the gut dysfunction. Those are the big ones. You have to get those looked at. Okay, if you are struggling with thyroid symptoms and all you're doing is taking medication and you're not really addressing all these things, that medication might be working for you, but it's not going to work long term. You're going to eventually need to increase your dose. You're going to eventually have symptoms again. You have to start addressing all these other things. And if you need help with that, reach out because I'm more than happy to give you a little bit more information. We can see if you could even need to work with me. I'm happy to do that. Let me know. Let me know if you have any questions from this video as well. So hope that's enough information for you guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.